please welcome UF grad, Emmy Award-winning meteorologist, and Game Show Hall of Famer Rich Fields to this episode of Night Talks.
I almost stood up and looked for the guy you were introducing. I wanted to see who it was. Thanks. Pleasure. Nice to meet you. Great to be here.
So you don't have your molars, but you do have an acceptance to the University of Florida. Can you tell us a little bit more about your experience here at UF?
Well, the way that came about, I don't know, I guess I just wore Dad down, and he's like, fine. And I think he knew it was the 11th hour, and nothing was going to happen, you know. Nothing was going to change. So he finally, verbally gave in. Fine, if you want to go to college, you got to find a way to pay for it. And like I said, you know, I already had the acceptance from University of Florida in my back pocket. And so my mom started doing work. You know, there's no internet at the time, but she's making phone calls and trying to find out how I can pay for this, you know, student loan stuff and things like that. And once that was ironed out, and what was the objection now? You know what I mean? Okay, so you have found a way to pay for it yourself. All right. You know, and he was still, you know, what kind of money are you going to make, you know, in radio?
A question a lot of students have,
still,
I think, today.
Right?
Yeah.
But there is. You make it big. You get a big market. I mean,
that drive.
That's exactly right. With drive, I'll just fast forward a little bit. My first Los Angeles radio contract, it was 3 years for $150,000. And in the early 80s, that was a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
It was all good.
Cool. So you obviously utilized a lot of the resources here at the J School. But when it came time to graduate, what were sort of your steps towards getting a job?
Well, I was a firm believer in early start. I was a firm believer in pushing stuff out much earlier than I expected to leave here. Only because I expected to get turned down. And so I wanted to get the wheels greasing at certain markets, certain places that by the time I was in my last few months here at University of Florida, that a second or third attempt with folks, they'd be like, oh, this is that guy a few months ago. And really, I got picked up almost immediately of sending things out. I hadn't even graduated yet from the University of Florida, and I already had a couple of job offers, and I took the one outside of Denver. And in all honesty, I actually finished my last couple of credits by correspondence. It wasn't online. There was no online. By correspondence. And they were outside of the college anyway. I forget what I owed them, an hour for something. I forget, I don't know, English. I can't remember what it was. And I had to write something, you know, in Denver, and I ended up doing that by correspondence and finishing. So
you're in Denver, your first job out of college.
Yeah.
How was adjusting to moving to a new state and sort of not knowing what lies ahead?
That's part of the fun. Matt, I'm telling you, man, to me, when you talk about the word drive, that's all in it for me. That's part of the excitement for me. That's part of the fun. Going to a brand new place, man, you know, you don't have any, you're not married, you don't have any kids, I hope.
No.
All right. And, you know, you really have no responsibilities to anyone else but yourself and your employer. You know what I mean? I just want to do a good job for them and move myself up. So that's part of the fun for me, you know, the town to town, up and down the dial, the nomadic life in broadcasting and things like that. That you talk about drive, that's it. I love that. And I kind of embraced that. I wanted, and my dad was very strict at home since we were really little kids. So getting out of there also was a drive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be on my own and to do what I wanted to do for a change. You know what I mean?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes, right. Just so to be out on my own was huge. I loved it. Ate it up.